some marriages that you go into and you're not even crazy with the person. At that first point in time, you guys are in love, you guys just got married. But what about when the love dies? I know of a woman who that happened to, and she all her career, like everything went down the drain. Every single thing went down the drain just because she got married. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. I don't know, I just want to include this in my intro, but I don't know how it seems. Anyway, my name is Blessing. I'm always happy to be here with you guys. Today we are talking about marriage in your teens and your 20s, but please, if you're new here, click on the subscribe button. Like, don't go anywhere, click on that button. And if you're not new, thank you so much for coming back. Like, you're amazing, okay? You're really amazing. I really appreciate you. Anyways, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, comment on this video, and let it just be like an interactive section, okay? You have something you have in your mind to say about this, put it in the comment section. I'm definitely going to reply, and also share it to anybody you think might want to see this video, okay? So, marriage amongst our teens and our 20s. If you're thinking why I should be talking about this topic,
been there, done that, still doing it. That is why I should talk about it, okay?
Marriage amongst the teens and the 20s have been increasing daily. Like, it's the order of the day. But as much as it's the order of the day, some people are also starting to get a realistic view about what marriage is, and they're actually drawing back from, you know, doing it so early like that. So before we start, let us know what marriage is all about. Marriage is the union between a man and a woman, and I think we all already do know that. Now we're going to talk about why people are actually drawn to getting married. Number one reason would be that peers are getting married. Like, your peers are getting married around you, probably your age mates or people who are not even your age mates, and because of that, it's just that sign that, okay, since people around me are getting married, it's time for me to actually get married as well. See, it's not your time, okay? Don't use other people. If you're using other people's marriage decisions to actually judge the time for you, then trust me, you're not ready for marriage. Number two reason why people are drawn to getting married is pressure from family, friends, and also the people you're dating. Family will start telling you that your mates are already getting married, so you should start doing something to get married. Your friends who are already married especially will tell you to go and get married, that is sweet, is this, is that. And also the person you're dating might start giving you signs that it's time for us to hook it up. If you're not ready, seriously, do not listen to anybody at this point, okay? Number three reason why people get married is because they feel that they are in love. You're in a relationship with somebody and you feel that you're in love, and so because of that you should tie the knots. But the question is love really enough? Is love what is going to take you through that lifetime journey of marriage? These are three reasons I would say people actually do get married. The next thing we're going to talk about is why people, especially people in their teens and their 20s, have an unrealistic view of marriage. Because to be honest, people who go into marriage really do have an unrealistic view of marriage. They think it's all rose and chocolates and flowers. Trust me, I say marriage is really beautiful, but at the same time, there are also a lot that has to go into it, but people are not looking into that lots that have to go into it. They're only looking at the sweet things they can get out of marriage. Number one, I would say our parents. Actually, in Africa, African parents tend to hide a lot of things from their children when they are facing the low times in marriage and all that. And don't get me wrong, it is totally good for parents to hide a lot of things that has to do with the marital problems they are facing, so that it doesn't mess up with the children's mental health and also the children's growth and all that. But at the same time, I just feel like there's a certain age or a certain stage where a child should get to, and the parents start opening up to them about what marriage is all about. Don't just show them the good parts. When they get to a certain stage and you feel like, okay, they can actually mentally handle it and they are mature enough for them to handle it, start telling them little things that marriage actually involves. I mean, they talk about how we should educate our children about sex. We should also start educating them about marriage according to the stage they are. If you're not okay educating your child at a very young stage about what marriage is, then let that child get to a certain age where you can actually start educating that child. Because at the end of the day, when the child is ready to get married and you're coming at that time to tell that child that, oh, this is what marriage is really all about, a realistic view of marriage, there are sweet times, there are bitter times, that's not the time the child would start to come and start thinking about not getting married and all that. The child already made up their mind. So as much as you educate your children about sex, you should also educate your children about marriage. It's as important as that. Number two thing that makes people have an unrealistic view of marriage would have to be social media. Like, social media have played a very huge role. when it comes to people having an unrealistic view of marriage. They just glamorize everything, the Bella Nigeria weddings, and you just feel like because they're having a Bella Nigeria wedding, that's how your marriage is going to be. Wedding is definitely separate from marriage. And also all these married people who are already married tend to, you know, showcase where they are giving money cakes, they are coming to serve their spouses breakfast in bed. Those things happen, don't get me wrong, those things actually do happen, but it is not an everyday stuff. These people come online and show you the happy times they are having. These people come online and show you the things they want you to see. This is not the things that happen closed doors every day. And because of that, people in their teens and in their 20s and sometimes in their 30s actually see this as things that happen every day. You think that once you get married, your husband will be putting a dollar bill under your pillow before you wake up. Before you wake up, there'll be breakfast served for you in bed. Whenever it's a special day in your life, or whenever there's something you're celebrating, you get a money cake. It's not always like that. So these things actually make people have an unrealistic view of marriage. And the third thing that make people have an unrealistic view of marriage is the relationship they are in currently. You are in a relationship, you guys are doing everything to please yourself, you guys are in love, you guys are this, you guys are that, and because of that you think your marriage is going to be all that. My sister, my brother, the reality is that sometimes it doesn't work out that way. At least for the most part, it doesn't really work out that way. So many things that happen in relationships might not happen in marriage, and for the most part that is what we see. Of course, some people still try to carry on all those stuffs and, you know, all that, but there are things that would definitely happen in your marriage that you might never see in your relationship. Okay, so don't use your relationship to judge how your marriage is going to be. So now we have gotten to the things you should actually know before getting married, or the things you should actually do before you tie the knot, whether you're in your teens, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, and you just feel like it's time for you to get married. I feel like you should handle these things first before you get married. The number one thing I would say that you should heal from your past. If you face like a traumatic experience, or you grew up in a home where so many bad things actually happen. Let's take, for example, traumatic experience. Probably you were raped when you were growing up, or you grew up in a home where your dad hits your mom, or doesn't have respect for women in general. He doesn't have respect for the way he talks to your mom, or he doesn't have respect for the way he talks to your sisters, or even his sisters, his aunties and all that. You just have to try and unlearn all those things, and you have to start learning new things before you get into marriage. Because if you don't heal from those past experiences, there's all possibility that you'll be going into the same thing into your own marriage, and that will be really bad for the growth of your marriage and for the training of your children. You have to heal from those past experiences. You have to learn that those things are really not normal. And for rape, there are some people who actually get raped, and when they get into marriage, they don't even like their husband touching them. Somebody cannot suffer for the things you are facing, for a traumatic experience that you passed through. That is why I say you have to heal from all those things. You have to unlearn, and you have to learn new things to actually be able to make your marriage work, to actually put in the effort, so that if your husband or your spouse is putting in an effort, you yourself will not be scattering the effort the person is putting. That is when marriages scatter. Two of you have to work hard towards it. Two of you have to put in the effort to actually make your marriage a very sweet one. So if you're a teen, if you're in your 20s or your 30s, and you have a traumatic experience, or you've seen something that made you just think that, oh, this is the normal thing. No, it's not the normal. What you have to do is, first of all, go and work on yourself. Go and heal from your past experience before you even delve into marriage, so somebody else wouldn't be suffering in that marriage. Number two thing I would say is to create friendship with your spouse. People underrate friendship. People think that marriage is only based on love. See, let me tell you the truth. A lot of marriages you see right now, the love is dead. That's just the truth. There's something else that's actually leading them on other than love. Yes, you're in a relationship. Yes, you love that person. Yes, you adore that person. You hold that person on higher. Like you just love that person. But is your marriage really going to last on love? Sometimes, or rather most times, love dies in marriage. What keeps you going? Find that thing that could actually keep you going in marriage. Even if the person you got married to, your spouse, the love for that person has died, or died later in the marriage, what else can actually keep you guys going? If you're 18, if you're in your 20s, let's actually think about all these things. What could actually keep you guys going after the love is dead? So that is why I would advise that you form a friendship with your spouse. Let it not just be that you're getting married because of love. Let that person be your friend, the person you can be crazy with. Because there's some marriage that you go into and you're not even crazy with the person. At that first point in time, you guys are in love, love, you guys just got married. But what about when the love dies? What else is that thing to sustain you guys? Your relationship, the person you're about to get married to, create all those things based on friendship, on love, and on other things that can actually keep you guys going. Number 3 thing I would advise is to know yourself. Get to find yourself. Get to find who you are. Who are you before you get to start getting to know somebody else? People in their teens and 20s, most times this is the time we guys, because I'm also still in my 20s, this is the time where we are starting to get to know ourselves. This is the time when we are starting to learn certain things about ourselves, getting to explore. Our brain is starting to learn a lot of things. Okay, if you get into marriage in your teens and in your 20s and you go into marriage, then you should know that you're not just learning about yourself, you have to learn about your husband. And when a child comes, you have to start learning about that child. When 2 children comes, you have to start learning about those children. And normally it's less of a burden when you learn about one person than learning about 4 whole people or 2 new people or 3 new people. So please, if you don't really know who you are, if you've not found yourself, you should actually try to find yourself before you get into marriage. Because once you get married, then you should know that there's a whole lot of burden trying to know yourself, trying to know your spouse, trying to know your children. Try to find yourself, try to know yourself, know your limits, know the things you can take, know the things you can't not take, know the things you want in a man, know the things you can handle from a man. Know the things that when somebody does this to you, you can actually handle it. You have a better way of handling it. That is knowing yourself. But when you don't know all these things and you get into marriage, it will be very difficult for you to handle all those things once you are already in it. So I would advise that you get to know yourself. Try to find yourself before you try to start finding somebody else. Be on a career path is another thing I'm going to say. If you're not on a career path and you get married and you're not that kind of a person who likes being at home or being a stay-at-home mom or being a housewife, then it's going to be a lot difficult, because some men actually do not want their wives to work. And the thing is that they might not tell you this when you guys are dating, but once you come into the marriage, they're telling you, no, I want you to stay at home, take care of my kids, stay at home, take care of my home, stay at home, take care of the affairs in the home. And that is not the kind of person you are. You want to work. So it would be best that you be on a career path, especially if you're in your teens and your 20s. This could also apply to 30s. Be on a career path, because even some 30s are still trying to, find their way when it comes to, financial terms. Be on a career path so that when that person you are dating, that person you're about to get married to sees you, it's like, okay, he already knows that you're on this. He already knows your journey. Speak to your journey to him. Tell him about where you are headed to. Ask him if this tallies with his goals as well, and you guys should just marry all things together. And if it's okay, fine. Now you already know, you spoke about it to him, he already knows what your goals are, he already knows where you're headed to. So it will not be that when you get married it will now start happening and he's telling you that you can't work and all those things, and that will be like a whole other story to tell, which is definitely going to be good for the health of your marriage. And don't get me wrong, there are some men that even when you already have a career path, once you come into their home, they tell you to just stop. That actually does happen. I know of a woman who that happened to, and all her career, like everything went down the drain. Every single thing went down the drain just because she got married. That is one mistake you should never make. Once you get married, please, anything that's giving you that financial freedom, do not take it for granted. Do not abandon it. Keep on doing your work. As long as it doesn't interfere with whatever has to do with your family, please keep doing your work, keep doing you, and keep being that woman you are, that amazing person that you are. Please do not forgo your work or your job or whatever for marriage. Or the last tip I'm going to talk about today is to always test the person who is about to be your spouse. I think people underrate this a lot. There are some people who can pretend, like some people can pretend from the day you met them to the day they get you as their wife, and that is why you should always test your spouse. Okay, you should test your spouse when it comes to anger issues. Look at your spouse on how he deals with his family. Look at your spouse on how he deals with your own family. Think of ways you can actually test him out. And if you are too young to read these signs when he's giving you a sign, those things they call red flags, then you can actually talk to a trusted person or an elderly person to actually tell you what these signs means. Test your spouse. The way he acts when you test him is probably likely the way he's going to act when you guys are in marriage. So test him on different things and just know his reaction to these things. And once you know the reaction to it, then that way he reacted then might likely at least 60 to 70% be the way he's going to react when you guys are in marriage. Please don't underestimate testing your spouse. try to look for opportunities to test him, to actually bring out the real person in him, to know what he will do when this is happening, to know what he will do when you guys are in this situation, to know what he will do when this is happening presently in your family. Test your spouse, test your spouse, test your spouse. I cannot overemphasize this enough. And that is all for this video. That is all the tips I'm going to be giving you guys. Please do not forget to share this video in case some other people might want to see it. Like this video also, because it's going to help push it out to other women who want to see this kind of videos. And also comment what you feel about this video. Whatever you think is, whatever you feel you want to comment, let's interact in the comment section. I'll be there to answer you as well, and I'll see you guys in my next video.